Spencer Miller.
Brett Boyle.
Congratulations. You have won the Stanley Cup.
Thank you. Wow. I would just like to take this moment to thank my coaches, the whole St. Louis Blues organization for taking me in like family, for treating me like family, really like royalty. I'd like to thank my parents, obviously all my teammates, the trainers. I would also like to thank the league for letting me get to this point. I would also like to thank that old man who made my last meal that I just ate earlier today before.
And that's all the time we have. Again, congratulations, Spencer Miller.
This is my first speech that I ever clearly had to give. No, don't take this from me.
And welcome back to
Top
Cheddar
Cheddar
Sports. This is Wednesday, my dudes. So we're going to talk some NHL hockey. And that is perfectly describes how terrible every speech was at that NHL Awards.
The award for best speech goes to
no one.
Keenan? Really?
Maybe that he wasn't very good either, honestly. But we'll get into that. Let's start off talking about the class of 2019 for the Hockey Hall of Fame. This year's players featured Guy Carbonneau, Vaclav Nedomansky, Sergei Zubov, the good defenseman there, Jim Rutherford, and Canadian women's hockey legend Hayley Wickenheiser.
All of those names were made up. You just made up all those names on the spot, for sure.
No, I didn't.
Wow.
College hockey coaching legend Jerry York was also inducted. Cool to see that. Awesome for all these great players, especially Wickenheiser, who really took women's hockey to a whole new level, not just in Canada, but really in the entire world, especially in the U.S. as well. All those great rivalries she was a part of between U.S. women's hockey and Canadian women's hockey. So that was awesome. Congratulations to all of this year's inductees.
Absolutely. Next, let's do a quick recap of the NHL Awards. To touch on the biggest ones, the Hart Trophy for the most valuable player went to Nikita Kucherov. Excuse me. The Norris Trophy for best defenseman went to Mark Giordano.
Yes.
The Vezina for best goalie goes to Andre Vasilevsky. And Barry Trotz won Coach of the Year. Elias Pettersson won Rookie of the Year. What stood out? And what do you think should have gone maybe a different way?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think this year, for the most part, they actually got it right, which is something that doesn't really happen very often at the NHL Awards, I feel like. I think the most controversial, if you want to say, is probably Coach of the Year, just because there were so many coaches you could have had win that. I mean, Barry Trotz, very deserving. Craig Berube would have been a great choice. Who's the other finalist? I don't even remember who the other finalist was. Oh, John Cooper of the Lightning. Yeah, tying the record for most wins. Then you had the lesser candidates as well.
Hurricanes.
Like the Hurricanes coach, Rod Brindamore. You had Bill Peters in Calgary. You had just Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Winnipeg, their coach. I mean, just countless coaches. Dallas. I think Dallas's coach had a case to be made. I mean, so many options, but I think Barry Trotz is a fine choice.
Yeah, he was absolutely deserving. He probably, of the three finalists, was the person who I thought maybe deserved it the least. It's kind of hard, though, because
they all have different cases
They
as well.
all had a good case, and
Right.
so that's why I'm not really upset about it. He just was the person who I was guessing was least likely to get it.
And then my only other knock, I guess, would be possibly on the Vezina. I don't think Vasilevsky led the league in wins. I would have gone with Robin Lehner, who had a better goals against average and save percentage, and just kind of came out of nowhere this year, and really was a huge part, along with Trotz, as to why the Islanders had such a good year. But Vasilevsky also deserving. I mean, there were just a lot of awards this year. It's like you could have gone with a lot of people. So, but I think they got it right for the most part.
But Brett, why didn't Jordan Binnington win the Vezina?
Or the Rookie of the Year, really. I don't think Binnington should have won Vezina because he only played really half the season.
That's what I was gonna say. He couldn't win it because, well, he could.
He could have won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Although I would have voted for Pettersson as
Pettersson
well.
definitely had the better year.
And I mean, Binnington also didn't win the Conn Smythe for playoff MVP.
No.
He was very close on 3
Yeah.
different awards, but didn't quite get
The
there.
main thing
but,
to remember for the NHL Awards is that they're for regular season only. Is
Correct.
basically what I was getting at. So
Yes.
that's why Binnington didn't really have as good of a case, even though he did build a strong case with the year that he did.
But he'll have a chance to win the Vezina in many years to come.
I'm sure.
So,
Alrighty.
Over to some news. The St. Louis Blues signed head coach Craig Berube to a
Yes!
3-year contract. Long overdue.
Yeah.
Blues forward Vladimir Tarasenko also underwent a minor knee surgery and will be reevaluated in 4 weeks. This is not expected to be anything major, though. And we would get in trouble if we did not mention that Victor's favorite player ever. Don't ask me why, because I still, to this day, have no idea.
Sidney Crosby?
Brooks Orpik.
Close.
Brooks Orpik announced his retirement yesterday, after 15 seasons. So congrats on a decently solid career.
Decently solid
To
is how
Brooks
I want to
Orpik.
go.
Yes.
All right, now, Brett, let's talk trade season.
All those trades.
Yeah. The Chicago Blackhawks acquired Calvin DeHaan from the Hurricanes in a 4-player deal. This is a nice pickup at a cheap cost for a team that really needed some help on their blue lines. The Flyers traded Ryan Hartman to the Stars in exchange for Ryan Pitlick. This is not really a huge move for either team, but simply a swap of some depth pieces. And the Flyers also re-signed young defenseman Travis Sanheim to a 2-year deal, paying him $3.25 million annually. Now, the one question I have for you, the first one, Ryan Hartman to the Stars for Ryan Pitlick.
Yes.
Do you really see that as kind of a change of scenery move for these two players? Nothing really else, or how do you view that one?
I do. I see it as a change of scenery thing. I also see it as a slight salary dump for the Stars because Hartman is actually a free agent.
Okay.
Restricted, but it was announced, I believe, yesterday that they're not actually gonna extend him a qualifying offer.
Okay.
Although they still do want to bring him back.
Okay.
Now that they traded for him. But if they don't, it's just kind of a salary dump because Pitlick is under contract. But yeah, kind of a change of scenery. They're very similar players in my mind, so just kind of there. But the Flyers, man, they keep making moves. They just keep making moves.
You just have to hope, well, I guess you don't need to, but as maybe a Flyers fan, you have to hope that they don't fall into this habit of being the team that wins the offseason by making all these moves to potentially upgrade the team and then end up falling flat on their face 2 weeks into the season. Shout out to the Seattle Mariners. But that's baseball, so who cares?
The Vegas Golden Knights have agreed to terms with William Karlsson on an 8-year deal, paying him $5.9 million annually. This is an interesting one, given the lack of consistency from Karlsson to this point in his career. But he will be happy to stay in Vegas, where he loves living. He wanted to stay there, so good for him.
8 years is a lot of time.
It is, and I feel like he already had his career year. He took a big step back this year. I don't see him. I don't know. I feel like he might be a little overpaid, and to give him 8 years is a gamble. But the Knights have been making some bold contracts since they've been in existence, so we'll see. The Lightning freed up some salary space and acquired a first and a third round pick by sending JT Miller to the Canucks. I like this move for both sides, as each team gets exactly what they needed there. The Canucks a very productive forward who kind of got lost in the shuffle of how many good forwards the Lightning had. And the Lightning get some cap space and a first-round pick, which is a really solid return. Better than I thought they would get for sure. Then the Avalanche traded away Carl Soderberg in a surprising move. He goes to the Coyotes, who send a third-round pick and a defenseman in return. So a great ad for the Yotes, and the Avalanche now have the most cap flexibility in the NHL heading into this offseason. They have about $34 million in cap space.
There you go.
For a team that made the second round of the playoffs last year, and had the 4th overall pick in the draft. Very good, bright future for the Avs, so look for them. The biggest trade news from this past week was obviously the PK Subban trade.
Obviously.
So Subban got dealt to the Devils for 2 second-round picks and 2 defensemen, neither of which are really that good. Wow. A tremendous deal for the Devils, obviously, as the Predators got nearly nothing in return here for a player of that caliber. The move makes sense for Nashville when you look at their depth at defense, the length of PK's contract and the amount, and their desire to sign Matt Duchene this offseason. So they do free up the cap room to make a move for Duchene,
Right.
a forward to add to their group, which is kind of what they need more than a guy like Subban at this point. But, like, holy shit, like,
Should get a bet. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're trying to get rid of somebody. You still need to get the right return.
you got to get some value, and they just didn't. It almost seems like they punted on this just to get Duchene in, which is not even a guarantee, although
Right.
it's likely he'll sign there. But good for the New Jersey Devils, Spencer, in a span of, like, not even 24 hours, added Jack Hughes and PK Subban to a roster that's also going to get Taylor Hall finally healthy back, the reigning MVP
Right.
from last year, to this lineup. The Devils are going to be a competitive team. They could be a fringe playoff team this year. I still think they need to address their goaltending, but really good stuff. Really good stuff from them.
All right, we mentioned in previous videos how Patrick Marleau was likely to get moved, and got moved. He did.
Where to?
He was shipped out to Carolina along with a 1st and 7th round pick in exchange for a 6th round pick. That is quite the price to pay for a salary dump. And what did the Leafs do with that money?
I
You
don't
may
know.
ask.
What did they do?
Well, they signed forward Andreas Johansson to a 4-year extension worth about $3.3 million annually. Can I get a team-friendly contract? They also signed Kasperi Kapanen to a 3-year deal worth around $3.3 million annually. That's basically
Team-friendly
the same.
contract!
There it is. Thank you. Toronto will still be weighed down by all of their massive contracts and will no doubt struggle to retain Mitch Marner this offseason.
Yes, and the last bit of news for the week is all KHL related, but it does apply. So former first overall pick turned meme, Nail Yakupov, we all remember him. He's coming off his best year of professional hockey, but will not be returning to the NHL, despite some speculation. He inked a new 3-year deal to keep playing in his hometown, Russia, in the KHL this past week. So no return for Fail for Nail. The hashtag Fail for Nail will not be back anytime soon. And Jesse Puljujarvi of the Oilers was extended a qualifying offer, meaning they retain his rights even if he does play over in Europe this year, like he has threatened to do if they don't trade him. So the former 4th overall pick is unsurprisingly wanting a change of scenery out of Edmonton, like everyone that ever goes there does, after a poor start to his career. He is still 21, though, so there is a lot of potential there as the Oilers are looking to trade him, although they haven't found a good trade partner yet, and their GM is adamant that they are not just going to move him to get rid of him. So I find it likely, knowing how stubborn the Oilers as a franchise have been lately, they're not going to trade him. He's going to wind up playing elsewhere. We might not see him again for a while, much like other guys in the past, like Kovalchuk and Yakupov and so on and so forth. If he finds success out there and is getting paid, why come back?
All right.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So just a bad situation for the Oilers there. Hate to see it. I don't, but some do. And that'll do it for... Gonna put our Stanley Cup there. Sorry, Spencer, I don't want to block you. That'll do it for NHL Wednesday. Tune in tomorrow. Victor will tackle the NFL for you. And leave a like.
Leave a comment.
Let us know what you think of all of this. We covered a lot here. What do you think is going to have the biggest impact? Which trade, aside from the Subban one? And do the Devils have a shot to make the playoffs? Let us know what you think. The Metro, I feel like, is becoming more balanced and more wide open now, more than ever. And yeah, smash that subscribe button. Spencer, anything else?
I don't think so. We'll see you guys Monday
We'll see you
for
Monday
some
for
baseball.